So I've gone over everything in this playlist regarding the technicalities, the settings, how to shoot. Now let's talk about something called composition. Now, if you look through YouTube, there's all these videos like top 10 tips for composition, top 20 tips. I'm going to be frank with you. If you want to take nice pictures, there's really only one or two composition tips you really need to know. I mean, you could use the other ones, but if you just use these two composition tips, your picture is going to be better like 95% of the time. Like, these are the two composition tips that I use pretty much all the time, if not always. And the first one is called the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is quite simple. Imagine your camera is split up into thirds. There's going to be some intersection points. The rule of thirds basically just says, if you put the picture or what's interesting in the picture in one of these intersections, your picture is automatically going to be better. And I'm going to show you some example of the rule of thirds in my photos. I am completely honest with you that throughout pretty much all of my photography career, I use rule of thirds pretty much all the time. Of course, there's times when you want to break the rules. There's exceptions to the rules. But most of the time, that's really the one I'm using. Now, I do want to backtrack a little. It's not just rule of thirds. When I take a picture, I take a picture from like all kinds of different angles and vantage points, lower, higher, different composition. And then when I get home, I look at the pictures and see which one I like the most. But rule of thirds is a really great place to start. If you're using your phone, you actually have this rule of thirds overlay that you can use on your phone when you take pictures. You just have to find the setting to turn it on. And pretty much all the cameras come with the option to turn it on or off, including some DSLRs. They already have it. So, first one is rule of thirds. The second one that I find myself using quite often is to fill the frame. Fill the frame basically means if you're going to take a picture, you want as much of the important stuff in the picture, and this involves you getting closer to the subject most of the time. Although you don't always have to get close to the subject. Like, if you look at my pictures, the majority of my focus lies on the environment. So I try to put as many buildings and signs into my picture. If I find that there's like a lot of empty space around my pictures, the picture just doesn't feel very complete to me. So sometimes it means I have to crop my picture, but to be honest, I don't like cropping my pictures. So either you move closer or further away, or you can zoom in to compress everything. And if you're talking about taking photos of people, it means getting closer to them. So yeah, I'm going to show you some examples here of composition. As you can see, it's not really that hard. All you have to do is put the interesting stuff in these lines, and that's pretty much almost all my photos. Of course, you're going to find exceptions, and of course there are many other rules for composition. But if you want to take nice photos starting now, then you can just start by using this rule with most of your photos, and in many cases all the other composition tips kind of fall into line. Like, many times people watch my videos and they start talking about stuff that I didn't even notice when I took the photo. I was just following the rule of thirds and they're like, oh my gosh, the leading lines and the patterns and the parallels and whatever other stuff. I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice that. I was just following the rule of thirds. But it's kind of like when you go to university and they make you do a research paper on an artist or writer, and they want you to dig too deep into their writings or something. It's kind of like that. But anyways, I hope you found this useful. Remember, these videos are meant for artists or everyday people. These videos are not meant for photographers. Photographers have their own little bubble and world that they live in, and they might find this kind of stuff too simplistic, even though they don't even do it right. But yeah, please remember that you can watch the whole playlist from the beginning, where I pretty much go over everything. It's basically a crash course in how to take nice photos for the everyday person or the artist. So I'll see you around. Take care.